Hey you guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. I truly appreciate you guys taking the time to stop by and to see what my review is for the new Android 15 with the One UI 7 beta for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. I know there's so many great reviewers out there and so many great tech channels that already kind of cover the beta 7 for the S25 and the S24 Ultra. One UI 7 beta is only about a week old for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, so let's dive right into it. So with my first impressions of just simply the layout here, I know I had already made some customizations to my home screen. The initial layout of just everything, you can already tell right off the bat that it's a new software. And I think the biggest giveaway is the fact that some of the native apps do look different, such as contacts, your Samsung Internet, Samsung Wallet looks different. They all look a little bit more vibrant, colors stand out a little bit more, the phone. I use Google Messages, I don't use Samsung Messages as my native text messaging app. Then the other next thing that you can tell right off the bat that's new is just how the notification panel looks. The notifications that you do get obviously are really rounded compared to the original 6.0 version, and now you can see you can see when you go to swipe down that there's a very subtle like transition with the time, date, and then your carrier. So I got T-Mobile with Wi-Fi calling, and you can just see how it just kind of pops in there, and it's a pretty cool transition. Like, you know, when you can definitely tell if you are paying attention when you do go to swipe down, you can see that there's a lot more animation and a lot more detail into just simply swiping for your notification panel. And then when you go to your quick setting panel, it was definitely an upgrade, and I saw the direction on which, you know, Samsung was going with the One UI from the 6 to the 7, and it's definitely a lot more cleaner. And the cool thing is now when you expand, for instance, like all your toggles here, you can expand it and it gives you all the names of each setting, and then you can close it. It just looks clean. And the cool thing about this quick panel is that you can also like rearrange everything. You just kind of hold and move things around, which is cool because you couldn't do that with One UI 6.0. It's cool that we're getting a lot more customization because that's what we all know Android for, right? And another cool thing is when you have your navigation bar and you're trying to switch through different apps. Let's just pull up some different apps here and just kind of show you guys, you know, what it looks like. So when switching between apps, it's almost like this stacking on top of each other effect, and it fades out the app logo, the app icon right there pretty good. So like little animations like that just kind of make things, something as simple as just switching apps, a lot more fun, a lot more intuitive, a lot more attention to detail. And I think that's something we all wanted, right? It's just more animations, more pop, more color. And I think One UI 7 is actually on the right direction of giving that to us, especially with us Z Fold owners being able to see what Samsung can offer with a folding device like this. And another thing with the bounce, I know a lot of people were like, you know, we want more bounce, and it's cool because when you go to swipe down your notification panel, it almost has like this little bounce effect when you swipe down, and it's not even that hard. It's just a simple swipe and it gives you that bounce effect. And another thing too is that I like that the clear button is now here at the bottom instead of always being at the bottom of the notification, because sometimes I have like a million text messages or a million messages or whatever notifications, and I have to swipe all the way to the bottom of all the notifications just to be able to get to the clear button. But no matter how much notifications that you do have, that clear button is always going to be right there. So once you press it, then it all, you know, clears away everything and just a press of a button. So the number one thing that everyone's most excited about was the Now bar, because this is still only the beta 1 version for the Z Fold. We don't get like health tracking or anything like that just yet. Life updates, whatever that the S25 Ultra has for the Now bar. So for now, we just get like like the basic beta versions of what the Now Bar is giving us. So for instance, if we go ahead and play some music here, and then we go to the home page. Now, one thing I did notice with the beta 1 version that I think they're supposed to be fixing in the next update is that it doesn't show any running app like Spotify, timer, maps. It's supposed to show a little pill up here, and you're supposed to be able to click it, and then it'll play there. So let's just try to get something like, so for instance, when you have like Google Maps open, right? See, it showed it for a split second and then it goes away. It was doing fine when I first downloaded it, but then I noticed that it started having its glitch, so it wasn't working as well. But for instance, if we have all that going and then we go ahead and lock the screen, now you got the Now Bar right here at the bottom. So now you can see that the music is playing and you have your Google Maps active. And then when you go and tap on the Now Bar app, it kind of pops it up a little bit bigger, so you're able to see whatever direction is next. And then when the screen turns off, it's cool because it still stays relatively enlarged. That way, if your phone is like mounted on something, you can still kind of see it from a distance. And then here's your music, and then when you go and tap it, I know everybody was excited about this, and so am I. So when you go and press the Now Bar for like any music, it's cool that now we have like this full screen of like the Spotify music or anything playing, because I think with YouTube, I think it still does it as well. I don't have YouTube Music, so I don't know exactly what it would look like, but this is just Spotify's instance, and you can click your media output, quickly change, if you want your headphones, speaker, a Bluetooth or anything like that, then you can add it to your favorites. So it's great. And then what I noticed with the Now Bar for Spotify is that when you do have music playing, you can't touch the cover art to go to the app. You have to actually touch like the controller, and then it'll go ahead and take you to the app. And then see up here, when you have obviously unlocked your phone, it still gives you a status pill of like active apps in the background. I think another app that was working for it was Timer, so let's just go ahead and set a timer here, 15 minutes. So there you go, you got the timer pill up there, and then it kind of brings it down in the expansion, and then you can swipe through different active apps in the background. So another cool thing about One UI 7 is the fact that you can adjust your widgets. This is pretty cool. So if you have it expanded, so if you have something small like this, or you can adjust different layouts. So this is the Google Home widget, so this one can go a little bit smaller. So it's just cool that you can like adjust it so easily. You're only kind of stuck on like whatever fixed size you have, or having to kind of go back if like it doesn't fit on that page or whatever. And then another cool thing is your app folders here that you have, you can actually shrink or you can enlarge them. So I think that's pretty cool, because then you can have your most used folders and have it expanded, or you can just leave them down like small, just depending on like if you want to be aesthetic about it or not. For me, all my apps, all my widgets, everything is for functionality, and I've had it kind of laid out in the same kind of positions. The only thing that I kind of change is like maybe my Spotify widget might be smaller or longer. Sometimes my notes widget is bigger. Sometimes I have a dedicated page just for my notes, but for the most part, like how I click on my apps and how I click on my folders, everything has just kind of always been the same for me. So if I were to move my folder from home page to the second page or the third page, it would throw me off completely. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that. The weather widget is definitely different too. So I kind of wish that they still kept the animation. So I still kind of wish they kept that little animation on the widget, but they don't. So now they just kind of give you this like stuck image. Maybe they'll change it in the next updates, or if it is different on the stable version. But for the most part, I kind of wish they would have just kept it, the animation. It just made it cool. Every time I swiped on that page, you see the guy moving, or when the girl comes with the raincoat because it's windy. I think that's pretty cool. I love animations. I just think Samsung does it the best when it comes to these animations, because it doesn't look tacky and it doesn't look it doesn't look fake, you know. So to me personally, I just like the way Samsung does their animations when it comes to like little things like that. But yeah, the weather app does look different. Like now when it gives you like the moon phases is different, and then it kind of gives you like this curvature of like showing you when sunrise and sunset is, and then it displays like all your UV, humidity, wind, pressure, visibility, stuff like that. Like everything's a lot bigger, a lot more in your face, a lot more like information that you would just be able to see without having to like squint or anything like that with it. And then this is a pretty cool one. Running, I've been doing a lot of running lately, been trying to kick my cardio game back up, and this has been a good helpful feature for me to know that in the time that I'm running, whether it's windy, sunny, rainy, whatever, it can still let me know, hey, you know what, even though the weather looks like this, I think it's still a pretty good time to go running. So I like that feature. It helps me out personally. All right, so we all know why we're here, right? This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, and we get to open up our phone and display such a beautiful phone. We get to showcase off such a great design. The case that I do have is the Samsung's native case that does come with the S Pen here. I do use the S Pen. I use it every single day. I use it all the time. The S Pen is just been amazing. I've had the Z Fold 4, 5, and now the 6, and I've had the S Pen for every single one of those generations, and I don't see myself without it. But if rumors has it with the Z Fold 7, they might get rid of the digitizer for the S Pen. I will be sad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how Samsung would get around it for people who do use the S Pens. If you guys use the S Pen, let me know. Let me know whether you guys are artists with the S Pen, or whether you guys are just note takers with the S Pen, or you know, whatever you guys like doing with it. The notification panel. Now, I noticed this is a pretty cool thing, right? So if you can see on the notification panel, it almost has like this backdrop. So it shows you that like there's more notifications there. So when you just swipe down from it, it pulls up all the notifications for that time. You got your battery indicator. I do like how they went with the circle pill style with it. The top just looks so much cleaner now. I like it. And then when you go to your quick panel settings, everything looks better on a bigger screen, right? So notification panel and quick panels just look amazing, and it all does the same thing it does on your cover screen. There has been some issues with the widgets for the Z Fold 6 beta, so I think that's what they're going to be fixing on the next update. When it does come out, I will do a review on that one, just kind of show you guys what changes. So another cool thing about the One UI 7 is the taskbar for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, and when you go and just do a very small swipe up, it'll bring the taskbar here instead of just always locking it to the bottom. And now the display on it just looks amazing. The colors are more vibrant, the apps are bigger, so it's a lot easier to be able to get through multitasking so easily. And another cool thing about the One UI 7, you saw it, is the app drawer. So with the app drawer, instead of swiping side to side, you know, through the pages, now we got the OG scrolling up and down for your apps. I'll show you guys on this screen because it's a lot bigger, and the customization on the lock screen, and because it's more bold, it's just a lot easier for you guys to see. But when it comes to the clock, you know, obviously you can reposition the clocks, but now they kind of give you like more freedom on where you're able to position the clock depending on how big or small you go with the clock. I always like my clocks really big because it's in the middle of the night. I just like being able to see it from a distance. That's just me though. To me, I just like when apps and clocks and things like that are just kind of in your face. As you can see, like on my home screen, you saw my clocks are just nice and big and vibrant and just in there. But with the style, they kind of added 2 new clock styles. So if you can see it, like they move a little bit when you add it. Has some little animations to it. One is thin and one is kind of like almost this transparent kind of clock style. I don't really add widgets, but I know there's some people that do, and I know they've added more widgets to be able to be on your clock screen. And I heard that Good Lock is updating their lock screen customization for it, and I've seen so many people do some pretty cool things with the lock screen. I guess a new feature on the One UI 7 for the lock screen is this suggest. So when you press suggest, it kind of goes through like different ways you can customize your lock screen, and some of them are pretty cool, and then some of them are kind of just like, I wouldn't really do all that. But if you don't want to do those ones, you can just always hit the suggest button again, and it'll just kind of go through like, you know, different suggestions and different clock styles, different colors and stuff like that. Another thing that everyone was excited about was the lock, unlock, the charging sounds. Let me go ahead and show you guys the lock sound. And then let me show you guys the charging sound. And the cool thing too is that when your phone is unlocked and then you charge it, it gives you an animation at the top where your battery icon is. And then it says charging, how much charged it is. It kind of fills in that little area like liquid, like where it shows right there. And then the other cool thing is that when your phone is locked and then you charge it, that's the one we were all kind of excited about, where it displays where the now bar goes on your lock screen. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to my review of the One UI 7 Beta 1 for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.